a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
The bits.
Welcome to The Bits, hosted by your favorite jam buds
Charlie.
and Robert. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Robert.
I'm hosting a birthday trivia relatively soon. How well is your fusion trivia? Do you know your fusion?
I do know my fusion.
Conveniently, that's also the name of the episode we're covering in Season 4, Episode 2, Know Your Fusion, which came out August 12th, 2016. But before we go forward, Charlie, did the postman bring us any post?
Hey, Mr. Postman, bring me a post. Bring me the post I love the most. So we got another email from our good friend, whose name I always forget how to pronounce. They say, "Hi, Charlie and Robert. How have you been? I hope you guys are doing well. What do you think of the off-colors and Lars? Do you want to watch Lars of the Stars? Was that too obvious? LOL, of course you will. I hope that Lars of the Stars comes up early. They didn't play an active role in the main part of Steven Universe, even though they are well-developed and have such unique characteristics. I hope that I can see more of them in the sequel. Plus, another question. If you could be revived and live like Lars or Lion, would you do that? It's pretty cold nowadays. I hope you guys stay warm and take care." So, Robert, what are your thoughts on the off-colors and Lars? Who's your favorite off-color?
I'm going to be so fucking real. It's been so long since I've seen the Off Colors episode, like that whole shtick with Lars. I don't remember anyone's names really. So when we get to that episode, I'll be like, oh, names. Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay, best one, Pat Paracha, the off-color Sapphire, who predicts things after they've happened.
Oh, yes.
She's the
I
best
remember
one.
her. I remember her. I will hold my reservations until we get to that episode. But as for, do we want to watch Lars of the Stars? Yes, we will. Hopefully, as it's coming out, we'll be able to cover it.
That's absolutely the plan. So we have to get through Steven Universe, and hopefully Lars comes out, like, perfectly after, so that we can do these things. It would be so wonderful.
Would it not be indeed?
Robert, would you want to become pink, like Lion and Lars? Die and be revived?
I was going to be like, that seems like it involves dying, and I don't really want to do that.
But then you could be pink, and you'd have that weird, like, wormhole alternate dimension in your hair. I'm assuming that would also cover your beard. Someone could jump into your beard.
Someone can jump into my beard or my hair, and like that. I didn't know. That's weird. I didn't think about it like that. It's a good thing Lars can't grow facial hair, because then he would be, as a question that's like, we could ask. Am I going to ask it? No.
Robert!
I don't know what you're talking about.
I hate you. You made me think of it.
As well as I made our listeners think about it. Whoa.
You're the worst. Let's
I think I'm actually the
swiftly
best.
move on now.
Yes.
To our wonderful game show here, Know Your Fusion. So, Steven and Amethyst still haven't told Pearl and Garnet about what happened at the kindergarten. How many episodes has it been now? Because
like 2 only, right? Because this is the second episode of season 4.
That happened in beta. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 episodes in between. Because remember, we had the whole thing with the rubies immediately after they bubbled Jasper.
Right. Yes, you are correct. So it's been 4 episodes. That's crazy.
It's insane. So they're like, okay, we gotta come up with a great way to tell them about this. It'll be so cool, so awesome. And Pearl and Garnet are like, okay, what's going on? They're very sus right now.
Are you guys doing drugs? Is this what you're going to tell us?
Maybe they are. Who knows? Pearl is like, Garnet, should we ask them what's going on? And Garnet says, I can't. Again, Garnet cannot ask questions. So they're like, all right, guys. So remember when we beat Jasper? Do you know who beat Jasper?
You guys, right? Not exactly.
Well, the answer is actually Peridot.
Peridot got the final kill. Listen, if this was like a D&D campaign, I would not say that Peridot got the final blow. I don't think Peridot would be declared the winner. Most of
Mhm.
the experience points would not go to Peridot.
That's fair. That's fair. Still, she got in a nice sneak attack
Mm.
in the end there.
Finally, the answer to the question of who beat Jasper, Steven and Amethyst like clasp hands together. You know, they do a nice fucking dab. They dab each other up, and they turn into smoky quartz. Pearl and Garnet, their faces are so fucking iconic. Where Pearl is like,
Yes.
what? And Garnet is so fucking pumped.
Literally, they're insane right now. And like, this is the mysterious stranger we're meeting. Oh my god, we did not expect it to be a fusion. Garnet, you have future vision. Is Garnet, I feel like this is when Garnet stops being able to like really see what's going on with Steven.
The thing is, isn't there like she can see pretty much like all the futures that could possibly happen. That's constantly her burden to bear.
Yes, but there is also that episode eventually that might be in season 5. But when we meet Cat Steven and Garnet has her like breakdown, basically like, I haven't been able to see what you're going to do, and it's because you've grown up. I'm still looking at futures where you act childish. So I feel like this is kind of like leaning like or foreshadowing that a bit because Garnet did not see this coming. And at the end of the episode, they're both like, what? Amethyst, you've been such a great influence on Steven. But it's Steven who's actually influencing Amethyst. Pearl's socks fall off, quite literally, in this scene, and she puts them back on. I love that bit. So Smokey is showing them the yo-yo, the wonderful giant yo-yo, and just keeps summoning more of them to be like, oh my god, here's my walk the dog, here's my jog the dog, here's my dog walking's just my day job till I finally get that call back.
R.I.P. Steven's television.
Once again, I feel like this is the 3rd or 4th time
Yeah.
they kill the television.
Yeah, R.I.P. And then finally, Pearl and Garnet fuse into Sardonyx. And they're like, hello, hi, we're just going to take you into this special room in the temple that only exists when I exist.
Yeah, because, you know, they're going to break stuff in the house more and more if they keep doing it out here. But also, okay, I feel like this is the episode that, like, confirms all the fusions get a room in the temple. But technically, the fact that Garnet has a room in the temple was already a confirmation of that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, where are Sapphire and Ruby's rooms?
There is no Sapphire and Ruby, there's just Garnet.
But I love that Sardonyx's room is like, it's not a door, it's like curtains.
Yeah, because Sardonyx is the star of their own little late night talk show kind of thing. It's really funny.
Sardonyx tonight.
Do, 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 do. And we're here today with our guest, the person who defeated Jasper for real. It's Smoky Quartz.
Hey, and there's like quote unquote live studio audience. There's no one there. I want to know if they're looking out at anything or it's just black.
They're looking at us because they do break the fourth wall a lot this episode.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what this whole episode is about. It's about breaking the fourth wall. Smokey's like, yeah, you want me to tell you everything about myself? I've only existed for like 5 minutes, maybe. And I was born in the kindergarten. And I beat Jasper. And I have a yo-yo. And 3 elbows.
Whoa.
I can lick them all.
Yeah. But Sardonyx is like, I've seen it, lived it, loved it. I just want to know the rest about you. And so Smokey's like, well, you know, and then Sardonyx stops the show to let in a word from their sponsors. I'm like, who the fuck is sponsoring the show? How much money is Sardonyx making from these sponsors?
What are our theories about who's sponsoring this show?
What are like some let's see. So we have this episode of Sardonyx Tonight was brought to you by Keytars. Keytars. Half guitar, half keyboard. All fun.
I was gonna say like Dogcopter, like
No, we got to think of things that are combined together. This episode was also brought to you by Ligers. Have you ever seen a tiger and a lion and thought to yourselves, they should fuck? Ligers.
I need someone to take that out of context.
This episode is also brought to you by that weird peanut butter jelly bottle that like you can pour peanut butter and jelly mixed together out of that bottle. It's fucking disgusting, but it's a combination, so that's why I'm continuing with the joke.
This episode was brought to you by Sporks.
You ever think to yourself you want to stab something, but you also want to scoop them up? Sporks.
So while the sponsors are going on, the lights are like dimmed, and Sardonyx is like, okay, Smokey, be real with me here. we gotta figure out what's going on with you. Like, who are you? What's your special sauce? We need to get to know the you, perhaps. And they bring back the show, and now we have a new segment. We're gonna play out all the greatest hits of every fusion, and Smokey has to figure out what they can do.
She recalls, Opal's adventure. Right, wait. She recalls Opal's adventure at the Sky Spire and how she took down a flock of birds with her bow. So Sardonyx is like, here's a bow, Smokey. Let's see if you have that opalescent aim, which I enjoyed the pun.
Smokey's not good at it. Smokey cannot do archery,
No.
sadly.
No, unfortunately not. She fails to shoot at these corrupted bird targets that keep popping out of the little mountain prop.
Then we move on to the greatest joke of this episode.
Sardonyx introduces the next segment. It's called Do You Like That Little Man? Its name is said by Sugalite's voice, and the game itself is a variation of Ring the Bell. Sardonyx breaks the fourth wall beautifully. She's like, everyone loves a callback. Hey, do we have to pay her despite the fact she's not here? We do? Oh, well. And I just find it so funny because that is how voice acting works. That if they use a clip that you've previously recorded, that still counts as using your voice. They pay you for that. And famously, Nicki Minaj cost a lot of money to be Sugalite.
That's why she's never come back. So sad. But Smokey doesn't really get very, very far on this, like, ring the bell hammer game. I think they're just a little bit stronger than Stevani. Yeah, not even quite on Garnet's level. Even with a little spin around. So Sardonyx is like, maybe you're strong in a different way. Hey, we love a callback. Also, Sardonyx keeps talking about Jorge, who is like, the lighting guy, panning them out to the next thing or something. I don't know. Jorge does not exist. It's funny. Everything is funny. Our last thing here is being like Alexandrites, who has fire breath, and Smokey just burps.
Burp.
But it does move the target a little bit.
I think that should count for some, participation points.
Yeah.
And so Sardonyx is like, okay, we need to try and think of a common thread between Steven and Amethyst that's heightened by their fusion. And Smokey is skeptical to this. And Smokey begins to disparage themselves as Sardonyx starts to look away in horror as they do.
Yeah, the thing that Steven and Amethyst have in common is their self-deprecation. That's the thing. that is their common thread. So if you want the superpower of self-deprecation, you have Smoky Quartz. There you go. It's very sad and it's so real. And I'm like, oh, why am I seeing myself in this episode? I wonder.
Self-deprecation.
So Sardonyx is like, oh no. They're upset. They're like making fun of themselves. Oh no, and it's not about us. They unfuse. Pearl and Garnet are unfusing, and the whole room starts to fall apart. It's cracking everywhere. They can't reach each other, and Smokey saves the day, grabbing Pearl and then Garnet, and like grappling outside of the room to get them all out of there just before it disappears entirely. And everybody hugs. They're like, oh my god, you guys are so cool. Smokey is unfused back into Amethyst and Steven as well. And they all just talk normally, like, so what happened?
They're like all very impressed about also Smoky Quartz's ability, where Garnet's impressed with the yo-yo could be used as a grapple. And Pearl asks if Smokey uses it more like a lasso or a flail, to which Amethyst says better than a flail.
It's a toy.
It's a toy. Pearl's also impressed, observes that it's so unexpected, and Garnet requests a play-by-play of the showdown with Jasper, which Amethyst begins to tell as the episode ends.
Yay! They're so good. Everything is so good. So, hey, Robert.
Hey, Charlie.
Should we go to the Crystal Temple?
For some Crystal Temple trivia.
Garnet was taken completely by surprise when she and Pearl found out Steven and Amethyst confused, in spite of her future vision. This could be that Steven and Amethyst fusing was not one of her probable outcomes. This may also be from her simply not choosing to use her vision in favor of being part of the surprise, which could be why she told Pearl she was unable to ask Steven and Amethyst what was going on.
As Smoky Quartz tells Pearl not to bother putting her socks back on, one of Pearl's socks literally slides down her ankle.
On Sardonyx's desk, there's a mug saying, I love EC, I love Empire City. I was trying to figure out what that was referencing, but that's good.
The background of Sardonyx' show has the view of Empire City.
This is the first canonical episode to feature a fourth wall break, with Say Uncle being the first to do so. I hate myself. However, in Say Uncle, Uncle Grandpa himself admits that the episode isn't canon.
Don't worry, bro. None of this is canon. I had to do it. It's been a while.
Sardonyx continuously breaks the fourth wall, referring to TV networks pulling shows for not selling, well, how Sukalite's voice actress, Nicki Minaj, is being paid for her voice being featured in the segment, despite not actually being in the episode or recording new lines, and how the clips of the other fusions are shown with footage courtesy of Cartoon Network on them. There is also another instance of possible fourth wall breaking coming from Garnet when asked by Pearl to ask a question to Stephen Amethyst. She replies, "I can't." This is a reference to the way Garnet is written. The writers have a special notation that Garnet never asks questions.
In the strength tester, You Like That Little Man, small illustrations of other characters are displayed to compare Smoky Quartz strength. In order from weakest to strongest are Pearl, Stevani, Garnet, Opal, and Sugalite. Pearl is the only non-fusion shown on the strength tester.
It's unknown if all fusions have their own room.
This episode's name was first revealed in the episode listing on the Cartoon Network website.
This is the last episode of the Summer of Steven event.
This is the first time Sardonyx is seen destabilizing instead of intentionally defusing.
When Sardonyx was shown defusing, a very short glimpse of the silhouettes of Ruby and Sapphire can be seen, along with Pearl. This is the second time Ruby and Sapphire's silhouettes can be seen while defusing from a fusion consisting of 3 or more gems, the first being Alexandrite in Fusion Cuisine. In both instances, the fusion was destabilizing instead of unfusing at will, heavily implying that destabilization causes Garnet to split at the end of the fusion's defusing process.
And now it's time for cultural references. The Wilhelm scream is heard as Sardonyx throws her pencils away while talking to Smoky Quartz.
In some of Sardonyx's fourth wall breaks, she pulls down a TV monitor, broadcasting footage of previous Steven Universe episodes. The footage on the monitor is captioned, "Footage courtesy of Cartoon Network," the TV network which Steven Universe is aired on.
The third fusion test for Smoky Quartz has the name Breath of Fire, which references the Super Nintendo RPG of the same name.
Sardonyx Tonight is a reference to late-night talk shows.
The iHeart EC logo is a parody of the famous iHeart NY logo, with EC representing Empire City.
Sardonyx is shown tapping pencils on the table, a trope commonly associated with late-night talk show personality David Letterman.
When Sardonyx introduces the new fusion, Smoky Quartz, she says that she is so excited she could shatter. This is a reference to the human saying, "I'm so excited I could die." And now it's time for Charlie's favorite section.
Continuity? Sardonyx refers to the events of Giant Woman and Super Watermelon Island. She also indirectly refers to the song Strong in the Real Way from Coach Steven.
Steven, Amethyst, and Smoky Quartz refer to the events of Earthlings.
Sardonyx says, "Good evening, everybody," as she said in Cry for Help.
Garnet asking for the play-by-play contradicts how she said, "We don't need the play-by-play" to Pearl in Kindergarten Kid.
The quote, "You've made quite the impression already," made by Sardonyx could be a reference to Jailbreak when Steven asked Garnet if he made a good first impression, with Garnet replying that they both already loved him. Aww.
And now it's time for our Pearl point. Who are we giving our Pearl points to, Charlie?
I mean, I feel like the answer should be Steven's TV, because once again, it's broken.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Rip to Steven's TV.
Rip to Steven's TV, pour one out for the homie. And then the question, should be something along the lines of like, hey, we've been alive for almost 30 years. Do we understand ourselves? Do you understand yourself?
What is what makes you you? What's the yo you, huh?
Yeah, what is what makes me me? I think what makes me me is that I'm funny. That's the only thing I got going for me.
Robert is a meme in living form.
True.
And that's why you are the artist formerly known as the Damn Meme Page. I do feel like you need to get that on a t-shirt. The artist formerly known as the Damn Meme Page.
The artist formerly known as the Damn Meme. That'd be funny.
What makes me me? I am just a little guy.
Just a little guy, indeed.
This is too existential for me.
But Charlie, thank you for making a podcast with me.
Thank you for making a podcast with me, Robert. And you know what? Fuck fascism.
Fuck fascism. And as always, every podcast, we're perfect.
We wouldn't have the bits.
Bye. You can follow this podcast socials at thebitssupod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send a message to our dime line through thebitssupod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at patreon.com/thebitsu. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about Steven Universe, or whatever else. Our $5 patron tier also gets you access to Steven's Room, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll talk about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with Steven in some way. No promises.
You can check out our merch store, The Bits SU, on Redbubble to find custom designs made by Charlie, me. Or if you cannot do that or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. It really helps. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws. You can also hear my voice on 2 other podcasts. I co-host another podcast on the network with Ray called Of the Eldest Gods, where we talk about the mythology book series by Rick Riordan, starting with Percy Jackson. I also co-host a podcast with my buddy Ethan called Mysteries in the Machine, where we talk about all things Scooby-Doo.
You can find me, Robert, at the Damn Meme page on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. If you want to hear more from me, check out my YouTube channel, also called the Damn Meme page, where I make videos mainly about Percy Jackson, but also sometimes other fun stuff. If you want to find me elsewhere in the podcast verse, you can also tune into my podcast, The Pit Crew, a show dedicated to dissecting the HBO Max medical drama, The Pit. The Bits is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like Content and Capable that follow Sam as he tries to figure out what it truly means to adult.
Have you ever gotten so distracted in Stardew Valley that you forgot to sleep? Have you realised that you have a whole room in your house full of dolls? Or have you even bored your friends to sleep talking about your passion? Well then, Content Capable is the podcast for you. Join me, Sam, as I chat to people passionate about what they do, asking questions about how they fell in love with their passion, what they do, and how it interacts with their day-to-day lives. Catch the podcast every Monday as I find out what makes someone tick, all while gleaning interesting and insightful life lessons along the way. There'll be laughs, a bit of crying, a whole lot of conversations, and we learn just a little bit more about the world around us.
Deus Ex Media.